What's up? Fingers crossed, no pausing, no lagging. How you guys doing? Today I thought I'd make a video talking about my history with favorite game series of mine. I think that might be a series of videos I do, one series at a time, and I figured I might as well do it starting with my favorite franchise of all time and going down the list. So I figured I would start with my history with Metal Gear Solid, or Metal Gear in general. My history with Metal Gear Solid stems all the way back to the year 1998 when I was 5. I had to do mathematronics in my brain. When I was 5 years old, my brother got the game and I would watch him play it. And I would just think it was so cool, seeing this character wearing a bandana, running through like this big base. And you have to hide from enemies and you see a surveillance camera. And he's like, a surveillance camera? No, that, whoa, that was Old Snake. A surveillance camera? Or something like that. I don't know. What do I look like? Anyway, so this was back in 1998. I was 5. I couldn't play it, even though I tried. I did try to play it. I kept on getting caught, getting seen in good times. And I remember being a kid and for whatever reason, being a little young lad that I was, I don't know why Sniper Wolf's death made me cry so much. I love her. That's probably what I was saying. I don't know. It's like 32-bit graphics. I love her. I'm just assuming that's what I said. I was not, yeah. And so ever since then, I've been in love with the Metal Gear franchise. And then with Metal Gear Solid 2, that came out the year it did, 2001, I believe. I believe it came out in 2001 or 2002. And my brother got the original PS2, the big fat model, and Metal Gear Solid 2 was one of the games he got with it. I didn't touch it. I didn't even knew it existed until he gave me that PS2 for Christmas with a stack of games, Grand Theft Auto 3, others, and also Metal Gear Solid 2. And I played it, and I was like, yeah, Snake, look how realistic he looks. I remember before the game came out, before I actually ever played it, people were saying the graphics actually look real. He looks like an actual person. His mouth moves. Nowadays, it doesn't look real at all, but his mouth moves. Kind of, sort of. And I beat the tanker part, and I was like, yes! And I was like, wait a minute. And then, cut to 2 years later in the game, a new character, voice doesn't sound familiar, they call him Snake. I'm like, what? And then it ended up being Raiden. But me being the little kid that I was in 2001, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I was 8. I was 8 playing it. And I thought, wow, this guy looks so cool. Look at his hair. Hear his voice. He sounds so cool. His girlfriend's hot. So I was like, wow, that's cool. Awesome. Now that I'm older, he's great and all, but, come on. Snake. I mean, come on. I enjoyed that game as well. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater came out in 2004. And I played it, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. I remember I got out of the shower. I was 11 years old. I got out of the shower, and I had this robe that I would wear after I dried myself off and everything. And I remember it being late at night. Not late at night, but dark out. Pitch black in the living room. And I sat down in my robe, freshly showered, turned the TV on. The sizzle of the older TVs. And I played the crap out of it. I played it a lot. The camouflage was a great addition. It's kind of hard to see because it's like, wow, the enemies blend in with the surroundings. You have to blend in the surroundings too so they don't see you. That's why I can't see them. Good stuff. You have to go through menus in order to do that, which, okay, fine. And also to eat food to replenish your stamina. Okay, go through menus. Yeah, why is it taking longer than a microsecond to open up the menu? But beside the point, story was great. Gameplay was great. When it comes to Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance and Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, I didn't really play them until later on. Mostly in this collection, or the Metal Gear Solid HD collection that has Peace Walker 2 and 3. And yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4. Let's talk about Metal Gear Solid 4. I watched that game from beginning to end multiple times before I even had a PlayStation 3. I'll come home from school. It came out in 2008. Yeah, I was in high school. I would rush home from school, finish my homework, boom, watch the game being played, watch the cutscenes, and then Christmas, 2010, yes, 2 years later, I got my own PS3. And what game did I get with it? Metal Gear Solid 4. I was finally able to play it. Yes, since then, I did go to my brother's house. My nephew had it. He had everything. Now I have everything. Yeah. Anyway, he had it, and I watched him play for a bit. And I remember playing for about 5 minutes. My brother came in and was like, "Hey, that's it, idiots. We gotta go," or whatever. And then I had a friend in high school. He had a PS3 360. He had Metal Gear Solid 4. He let me come over and play it, and I was like, I'm actually controlling the game. It was so great. It was so great. I've beaten that game a buttload of times. It was spectacular. I cry every time I got tears in my eyes because it's the end of the saga, timeline-wise. Yes, I know Revengeance, but as a game on its own, Revengeance is a lot of fun. But as a Metal Gear game, suck a dick because Raiden didn't need to go back out on the field. Beside the point, it was the end of the series, the end of the timeline. All stories were wrapped up, including Raiden's. They were all wrapped up. Tears, man. And then, cuts 2 years later, Peace Walker. I didn't play it until it came out in the HD collection. And then I bought it on the PSP later on because I wanted it. It's a Metal Gear game. Metal Gear's my favorite game franchise of all time. So I want to get a physical copy of every game. Real quick, I want to talk about Metal Gears 1 and Metal Gears 2. First time I played them, Metal Gear Solid HD collection. The NES version that came out in North America, The actual Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. I sucked ass at it. Yeah, I couldn't tell. Wait, how did he see me? I didn't see it. What? I didn't see. How did he see pixels? Terrible at it. Never beat it. Going to one day. Promise. Fingers crossed I do. I will beat that one day. Metal Gear 2. Sucked ass at that. What the hell? He turned his head? What the... By the way, this was later on. Decades after the Metal Gear 2 originally came out. And I was like, yeah, no shit, turn his head. But back then, I could imagine people being like, what? You could turn his head? I sucked balls at it. Will I play it again? Yes. Duh. No shit. Of course I'll play it. Will I beat it? Only time will tell. Anyway, okay, I just wanted to go on a side note talking about Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. People called it a demo because they are pretty not smart. It's not a demo. You take a demo is a piece of the game released separately from the game, not yet complete, and you play it until the demo ends. That one piece of the game, you finish. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes is not a demo. It is part of the Metal Gear timeline. I was buddies with some guys at my local GameStop back when I used to go there. And they said that they had a lot of returns for Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. I was like, what? The game's like 2 hours long. I already beat it. Blah, blah, blah. Look at the bottom left corner, dipshit. Look at the percentage of completion. Some of them still didn't care. They're like, no, this is stupid. I shouldn't have to do that. Meanwhile, they play like games like Destiny, where you do the same raids over and over again to get different loot. You're playing the same thing over and over again. Do the same thing with this, except you do things differently. Increase the percentage completion. Do the other missions in the game. Beside the point. Doesn't matter. The game is stunning looking. For its time, maybe even by today's standards. Beautiful. And, I just want to say, Kiefer Sutherland as Big Boss / Venom Snake, I was for it since the beginning. Because, if you remember in Metal Gear Solid 4, I believe it was Naomi that told Snake that he's not a genetic identical to Big Boss. So, it would make sense that their voices would change eventually, and Solid Snake never made it to... How old is he in Ground Zeroes? See, he was born in 1962, because he was 28 in Snake Eater, and that took place in 64. 62, 72, 82... No, not 62. He was born in 42. 42, 52, 62, 72? Okay, so he was 33. He was 33 years old in Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. No. I don't know. However old he was. It makes sense that Solid Snake lived to beat 42. What do I know? Anyway, I'm trying to do mathematics. My brain's not working too well because I'm tired. But beside the point, that makes sense to me that's why his voice is different. That's what I would have said if I was Kojima, But, it is what it is. Anyway, so I beat Ground Zeroes. I played the other missions. It wasn't until a few days later I found out if you roll into a wall, one of the pieces of the Fox patches is in Snake's belt. I got that, got all the other pouches, unlocked the, at the time, PlayStation exclusive mission. Good times. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Gameplay-wise, with the stealth, how fluid you go from standing, running, to crouching, to crawling, without having to stop, crouch, stop, go. You just do it all in one fluid movement. The mission structure, it was alright how it was kind of like a TV show. Excuse me. A lot of people say that Kojima has a big ego because his name is plastered all over the game. What I think is he knew that he was going to get kicked out of Konami and everything that was going to happen. He knew that they were going to take his name off the box art and any promotional material. So he told Konami to suck his dick and put it all over the game. Yeah, that's right. Remaster it now. What are you going to do? You're going to cross out his name? Yeah, anyway. Story-wise. Story is told in pieces of missions with cutscenes in between some of the missions. You go back to Mother Base, and sometimes cutscenes happen depending on your staff morale, depending on how long you've been out in the field, how long since you turned the game on. And it was great. The story is fantastic. The twist at the end, I was like, what? Okay, interesting. But then after that twist, I watched the cutscenes play out. I heard the dialogue, the post-credit dialogue that's in every Metal Gear game. And then it just cut to Venom Snake going back to Mother Base. And I was looking at him and I thought to myself, I will never look at you the same again. And now when I see him, I just see, alright, cool, yeah, character. Anyway, that's beside the point. Fantastic series. My favorite game franchise of all time. Anytime there's a version that comes out, even if that means giving Konami my money, but, you know, I bought Yu-Gi-Oh cards since then, and Yu-Gi-Oh's Konami, so whoops. I will buy any single version that they come out with for any Metal Gear game except for Survive. And Revengeance. You know, Revengeance, I have it on PS3. Once again, as a game on its own, fantastic. Not fantastic, a lot of fun. But as a Metal Gear game, what are you doing? Go spend time with your son, Raiden. What the hell? Anyway, that is my history of the Metal Gear Solid franchise, or Metal Gear franchise, Metal Gear Saga. Let me know in the comments what your favorite game franchise is. Any game franchise that you are a fan of, your number one favorite, your number two favorite. I'm going to continue this with my history with other games in other of my favorite franchises. I just wanted to start with my favorite of all time, Metal Gear Solid. And yeah, thank you all for watching those I did. I appreciate it. Hit the like button if you liked it. Hit the dislike if you didn't. Be sure to favorite, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Trovo, all that good crap. And yeah, God bless. I will see you all later. And yeah, kept you waiting, huh? Okay, all right, that was dumb. All right, bye. Oh my God, Metal Gear!